So we've all heard it. Feminism is the Western import, it's not our tradition, African women are done like that. A whole lot of things around this whole issue. But the truth is, I actually found out something really, really shocking. Your great-grandmother wasn't sitting at home waiting for permission to speak. She was most likely running a market empire, voting on who should be the next king, or literally making war against the British Empire. Think about your own family tree. We often stop at our grandmothers and, we often describe them and think of them as traditional. But the further back you go, the louder the women get, the more space they took up, and the more they own. Did you know about the dual-sex political system? So let me tell you about it. Now, in places like the Oyo Empire, women didn't just influence politics from the kitchen. No. They had their own government. Now, for instance, the Iyalode, she wasn't just a women's leader. She was the king of women, meaning that she sat on the Supreme Council. She had her own courts. If the men made a law that hurt the market or affected it in any way, the Iyalode could literally shut it down until they fixed it. That's how powerful she was. Can you imagine a woman today having the power to halt the entire GDP of Lagos by just saying no? That's how powerful the Iyalode was. Now let's go to the east. Our Igbo women. Now they had a custom that history tried to, bury or erase because it terrified the colonial officers, and that was called sitting on a man. Now, if a man in the village mistreated his wife or crossed a line, now the women, they didn't go to the police. Of course, there was no police at the time. So what did they do? Hundreds of women would gather at his house, right? They would dance, they would sing songs detailing all his sins, and they would literally sit outside his home until he apologized and paid a fine. It was a collective feminine justice system. It was radical, it was public, and it was absolute. That is the kind of structure that they had at the time. Now, when the British tried to impose taxes on these women in 1929, I'm sure we all know about what happened. But let me tell you, now they didn't realize that they were walking into a trap set by centuries of feudal solidarity. So this story, a man named Max Emerowa tried to count, the property of a widow, right? Now he wanted to tax her goats, her children, and even her very existence. You can imagine. She didn't cry. She just told him, "Was your late mother counted?" And then she signaled the women. Within days, 10,000, not 10, 10,000 converged on the colonial offices. That gave rise to the Aba Women's War. It wasn't a riot, it was a disciplined feminist military strike. And the market, in pre-colonial Nigeria, the market was the heart of the nation. And who owned the heart? Women, of course, you guessed right. They set the prices, they controlled the trade routes, and they were the primary financiers. When the British arrived, they were terrified. They couldn't believe it. They didn't see the delicate flowers that they were used to. Instead, they saw a female economic machine that they couldn't control. So, they did what colonizers do best. They changed the rules. And the truth is, the British didn't understand a world where women held the purse strings. They came from Victorian England, and this is a place where women couldn't even own property. They couldn't own anything. So this is the part that hurts me the most. Now, colonialism didn't just bring religion, road, education. It also brought along with it Victorian patriarchy. Now, the British only wanted to talk to the men. So when they came to Nigeria, they ignored our queens, they ignored our women. They gave land titles only to the men, they gave leadership roles only to the men. Then they gave education to the boys and domestic training to the girls. They brought domestic science as a subject to schools to teach our girls how to bake and sew for their husbands. Meanwhile, our grandmothers were used to leading trade expeditions across West Africa. You can imagine that. So, they feminized us into a weakness that was never actually ours. And this is the part that makes me sit back and wonder. They took women who were financiers and diplomats, and then they put them in classrooms to learn how to bake scones and stitch doilies. Make it make sense, right? Now, they replaced our history of leadership with a curriculum of service. They didn't just teach us a new religion. They taught us a weakness. They told us our power was sinful and primitive. And the thing is, we actually started to believe them. So, the next time someone tells you that feminism is un-African, tell them to go and ask their great-grandmother if she's still alive. Or you can tell them about the Iyalodes. Tell them to read about the Queen Mothers and the Women's War of 1929 and all the other things that women in pre-colonial Nigeria did before the coming of the colonial masters. I hope you enjoyed this story time. This is the first entry in our journal. So if you want to keep learning, hit that subscribe button. Tell me a story about a powerful woman in your family that you grew up hearing. Or what's the one thing you were told was traditional, but you're starting to think maybe it could be a lie? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in my next video.